So the first Icon SBC of the year is coming. Along with that, we've got the first promo of the year and loads of investments. But before we do start, if you guys are interested, a quick little ad on a trading service that I do provide. I offer daily subscriber trading guides, which you can get for free with Amazon Prime. All you gotta do is click on the top link and I say subscribe over on the Twitch, and from there you will go and receive yourself daily subscriber trading guides with, again, daily investments in there, loads of data on what to go and trade with daily prices updated, and lazy selling sheets. And of course, this is free with Amazon Prime, or it is £5, €5, or $6. So without further ado, let's go and talk about the content we've had in the last 24 hours and where the investments are. So transfer list looking like just a little bit of icon selling. But yeah, no SBCs yesterday. Despite there being some SBCs leaked and some SBCs at minimum anticipated, we got 0 SBCs, we got no FLAIR SBCs. Oh, we did, I tell a lie actually, we did get an upgrade SBC. We got a 5x80, which I think I got, what's it, Alex Garcia, the 84 buying Leverkusen sentiment. So yeah, we got that. Nothing too crazy. But where the content was yesterday was, it was on, if we can have a look, over on the evolutions. We only got ourselves a evolution, and it was a pretty interesting one. Again, a lot of the evolutions this year that have been released are all about, you know, just kind of throwing in multiple evolutions. Because of throwing players into multiple evolutions, you can create great players. But the evolutions by themselves aren't creating anything crazy. Like a Kim and Jay with just higher passing and defending, not too insane, you know, there's the nicer stuff out there. But if we go and look at the most popular players, we've got some stuff such as Mendy, Konate, Van der Ven's making it, Tomori's making it. And there's some interesting plays with this. So one of the players I recommended in my stream was basically that Mendy will probably get pump and dumped. So I recommended my chat to go and buy him up to 150. He got all the way up to 170. My chat were able to sell for around about 165 to 170 and made decent profit. And again, after it came out, he went and dropped in price. So again, you know, that's a pump and dump. Happens every single time at 6 PM. As long as you're not buying at the top of it, it's all good. And I say again, I thought 150 was a fair price. Bear in mind, he was 148 earlier in the day. I thought, you know, paying 2k more, I don't think it'll be too bad. And it, you know, it hasn't ended up being too bad. Worst case scenario, you probably would have been selling him maybe at like a 5k tax loss. But, you know, if you're skilled in the pump and dump, well then again, you probably made yourself about 10 to 12k a card, I'd say. So not too bad right there. Now, what does the Evo actually do to Mendy? Nothing too insane. Goes and gives him a little bit of pace and gives him a little bit of passing, a little bit of dribbling. I actually pat Mendy untradeable in my double 78, so I actually will be throwing him into the Evo. The other players that go and fit the Evo, we got Van der Ven. Nothing too insane. If he was actually demanded, this card would just go up and up and up and up due to how rare it is. But again, we saw it kind of spike last night there at 200. I actually earlier in the week recommended people buying Van der Ven at 180. He then was a little bit ropey because of the fight with the back buff in the recent update, so I recommended my chat to go and sell him when he hit 195 and over. So luckily my chat were able to go and sell him for about 5 to 10k profit, even with the card being a little bit ropey. Other cards that did well was Tomori. Obviously, I guess there's a lot of demand for Tomori with the likes of Cole Palmer being out and the lots of Serie A players. On top of that, obviously he's a good card in itself. Yes, they went from 24 all the way up there to 30, dropped back down there to 26, and yeah, having a little bit of fluctuation since then. So that is all we got on yesterday's content. Nothing too crazy. Okay coins were made. Let's go and talk a little bit about the leaks. First one we got is the most recent, or probably the following promo to Rush has been leaked. Now I was a little bit worried about this because as someone who trades a lot with icons, I was a little bit worried that, do you know what, the next promo might be something like Centurion. It might be supplying icons, and you know, if you're trading with icons and EA's dropping new icons, especially if they mess up that pack weight, it can be quite bad. But yeah, we're not too sure what this is, but I've done a little bit of research. I had a little look at all the different card designs we had last year. Obviously, looks a little bit like the Gonzalo hero, but I wouldn't give it that much credit. A little bit like Fire Versus, but I doubt we got anything right there. But the only one I really thought it looks like is the Trailblazer one we got from last year. If we go and compare it, the colour scheme is very, very similar, blue and red. If we go and compare it, I mean, there's literally hexagons on here, and obviously easily there is hexagons there. So I think comparably to other promo cards, I think we're probably looking at Trailblazers. Now that's quite interesting because Mad Rush, or Foot Rush, sorry, or Total Rush, was basically the exact same promo as Trailblazers. Trailblazers was a promo where EA went and basically only added 1 to 2 inform upgrades depending on the player. So for the lower rated players like, for I guess maybe the high rated players like Conde, Mbappe, Griezmann, they just got a +1. But for some of the cheaper cards, such as like Di Lorenzo, actually no, I don't think Di Lorenzo, such as the cheaper cards like Coley, Gaia, Dante, these guys got second inform upgrades to make them a bit more interesting. So it wasn't anything, and again, this is kind of what they did for Total Rush, right? Like the cheap cards got 2 inform upgrades, like Aspilicueta, but the more expensive ones like Marquinhos, De Bruyne, De Jong, James just got 1 inform upgrades. So if they're about to go and basically drop another 2 weeks of where cards only get 1 to 2 inform upgrades, in terms of interesting content, it might not be anything that insane. The main difference between Total Rush and Trailblazers was Trailblazers changed all the playstyles. So, for example, Sada's base card had Finesse, but this one had Tactical. And likewise, Bellingham's base one had Relentless, but they only gave it Tactical. So that was kind of like the main change, and they didn't do that with Total Rush. So maybe that's how they'll go and vouch for throwing in 2 weeks of Trailblazers, is because there is a slight difference with this promo and Total Rush. But again, it's only first and second inform upgrades. It's nothing too crazy. Now, what I think they'll do, if they do go and drop us 2 weeks of Trailblazers, what I think we might go and get is some of these. So these card designs are called On This Day. So the idea is, obviously, Champions League 10, 15 years ago, on this day, maybe they scored a great, free kick. Maybe they went on a great dribble. Maybe they had a great off-the-line clearance. So the idea is, these are, I think, what's going to go and replace the, when we get sporadic icon SBCs. I think we had Blanc this time last year. We had a David Beckham to start the year off. These are what's going to go and replace the sporadically released icon SBCs. So I'd expect either, I don't think it's this week, but maybe next Tuesday. If not, maybe the following Tuesday, Wednesday. I'd start expecting to go and see some hero and icon SBCs. And again, these are, as recently, the card name design is called On This Day. I don't think we'll get a full promo with these, because if the card's called On This Day, then releasing a promo doesn't really make sense. It definitely makes a lot more sense with these being sporadic icon SBCs. So, yeah. So, if we do go and get Trailblazers this week, what can we go and expect? Well, we got really good SBCs last year, especially compared to what we had with Total Rush this year. Obviously, the most renowned one being Rodrigo, very, very well demanded SBC. Declan Rice, you can see, was quite well demanded, 2,500 upvotes. Also, what sort of player SBCs? I mean, it tailed off definitely towards the back end. We had Alvarez week 2, which of course was a desirable card, but not for the price. We had Xavi Simons, again, didn't seem too good value for money. We did get a flashback Aspas, so that could be potentially comparable to those heroes and icons. And I think apart from that, is that we got Foyth. I don't think Foyth was overly demanded. Yeah, that was that. Now, if they don't go down the Trailblazer route, and in fact this promo card is, maybe it's a promo card where they're going to go and throw icons in, then it'll be comparable to what we got last year, which was Foot Centurions. Now, Foot Centurions was a promo where they gave us a bunch of base cards, again, just first and second inform upgrades. These were nothing too insane, but they also only gave us icons, which was quite significant because, of course, the current promos probably aren't throwing out players as good as a Centurion Hullet and a Centurion Jairzinho. So allowing icons to be in promos really does ramp up the quality of cards in the promos. But yeah, this is what we got the equivalent of after Total Rush last year. Again, if you guys don't know, we are going to have a second week of Total Rush, but this is the promo that will come after Total Rush. Why are we talking about this? Because as soon as leaks start coming out about this promo, which will probably happen in under a week, that's when you can expect to start seeing the market being panic sold. But if it is literally just these guys getting inform upgrades, it's nothing crazy. If we start seeing icon upgrades, well, it can be crazy. So again, if we go and get ourselves Foot Centurion, not this Friday, but the following Friday, we had some good SBCs. We had this Odegaard right here. Then we got this Pirlo SBC. So of course, our first more premium icon SBCs. We then had Marta. I don't think was very well demanded. We got our first Showdown as well, which was interesting. Goalkeeper, not really cared about. We then got ourselves an Ollie Watkins. Again, another Icons SBC of Vidic, who was very popular, only at 400k. We then had Nico Barella. I remember this card was semi-popular. 80 plus all stats. Trejo, I don't think was too popular. And again, it would have been a 2-week promo. So we had an 84 plus RTTK pack. So they started also dropping party bag SBCs. Thiago Silva, this is quite a legendary SBC if I'm not wrong. So yeah, if we get for Centurions, I think it could be looking quite nice. But if we go and get ourselves Trailblazers, I don't know. I think it'd be quite. Underwhelming. Now, if we do go and get Trailblazers, if I can go and get it up, I think anything that has risen in the last 2 weeks, or anything that rose in the 2 weeks of Foot Rush, should keep on rising during the 2 weeks of Trailblazers if we go and get that after Total Rush, unless they go and significantly increase the promo. Because if they go and drop Trailblazers after Total Rush, it's practically like just 4 weeks of Total Rush. So anything that wasn't being replaced with Total Rush isn't being replaced with these. So old promo cards that have been rising should keep rising. RTKs should, RTKs after the initial drop can keep rising. Heroes and icons that have been rising through Total Rush. If we go and get Trailblazers after Total Rush, they'll keep on rising. But here is an interesting thing. Is if we don't go and get a Trailblazers promo, and we get a Centurion-esque promo with icons in it, then we can expect to see a variety of trends. So the promo last year came out on the Friday. We can show you this with the Centurion Hillet. There you go, you can see it came out on the 27th. And because this card, well, at least for Hullet, because this card was significantly more than the base one didn't actually move too much. So this one came out on the 27th and it was 5 million. But if we go and look at the other one, we can see on the 27th, he was 3.7 million and he only dropped down there to 3.65. So actually the Centurion promo wasn't too detrimental for the prices of at least the top end icons. Some of the more low end icons that had promo cards did kind of get replaced. Again, she came on the 27th and she only came out at 750k. Now this was really controversial because her base icon was 750k before the promo came out. So they went and released an upgraded card with +1 on every stat apart from +2 on dribbling and pace, and it was the exact same price. Because it was the exact same price, it dropped this one from 750 all the way down there to 605, but she did manage to go and rebound 50k. And again, there you go, you can see this one was around about 800k. Did a little bit of research on how did this promo go and affect icons that weren't in packs, and there was some initial panic selling where Zola dropped from 5.7 down to 5.30, but he did go and rebound anything he dropped. So at least on the mid to top end sort of cards, it wasn't too bad. Gold cards, on the other hand, did not react very well. Again, the promo came out here. So for the first week of the promo, Putellas dropped from 745 down to 712. But for the second week of the promo, she dropped from 716 all the way down there to 560. So, yeah, pretty bad drop over the 2 weeks of that promo for something like Putellas. Now, interesting enough, Valverde had a really big drop in the first week. The reason Valverde had a really big drop in the first week, again, went down 80k, is because Foot Centurions, so again, the promo we're getting not this Friday, but the following Friday, or the equivalent of, dropped the really good evos. So the first time you saw really good evos was during the promo that came after Total Rush. And that's when we got the Lorente. Lorente literally, when he dropped a bunch of gold cards, he dropped a bunch of the centre mids, which is why you saw a big drop on Valverde, but you also would have seen a drop on the middle tier stuff. We can also see that it wasn't just centre mids that dropped. We can see for the first week of Foot Centurion last year, someone like Van Dijk dropped 30. For the second week of Foot Centurion, he dropped, where are we saying there, another 90k. So, you know, again, I'm not really backing gold cards. Again, it's not this Friday, but the following Friday for the promo. But that, I'd say, is going to wrap up just about a promo game. We're not getting this Friday, but next Friday, if it's Foot Centurion-esque, I expect to see a much bigger drop. If it's just going to go and be Trailblazers 2.0 with not much of a difference from last year, then I expect the market to be okay. So, Team of the Week got leaked. There we go. We can see that we got ourselves the Team Week. For International Duty, normally International Duty throws us loads and loads of great players. International Duty? I don't know if that's quite good. But yeah, normally Show throws loads of great players because you've got teams like Germany and they'll go and play Liechtenstein, and they've got England and they'll go and play against Greece. But yeah, just really didn't create a great Team of the Week. Created some okay cards. Hansen went and got in the Team of the Week for 1 assist, whereas Putellas got 2 goals and 1 assist. I think we covered it in the previous video. Which more likely than means Putellas is going to be in the promo this Friday. There isn't really an investment in there because buying these top end goals that are going out of packs just aren't rising significantly. It's more of a case if you want them for your team, you buy them. If you did want to go and buy Putella, gambling that she'll be in the promo, then you'd want to go and buy Thursday morning division rivals. But yeah, Hansen getting a 91 rated inform for 1 assist in the 7-1 win is just well, it's cherry picking if I've ever seen it. But yeah, we also then had Dom Zlobosai, who went and got himself 2 goals. Garassi, I think, got himself 3 goals. Trossard, I think, got 2 goals. Dumfries, not quite sure what he got. Guendouzi. But yeah, not a crazy Team of the Week. Now, some people would say, oh, what about buying Garassi? What about buying Garassi because he's an 84 rated fodder? An 84 rated fodder should do well out of packs. Well, the problem I have is Mane has been out of packs for 6 days now. And Mane is 2.4k. And the next year, well, and other 84s are literally 2.1k. So Mane has only risen 300 coins more than other 84s out of packs because of him being out of packs. So buying Garassi as a high rated fodder out of packs, I just really don't rate it. Unless you're really happy to go and gamble that the SBCs we get next week are going to be really, really good, then I don't really rate it as an investment. And likewise, I don't madly rate Hansen. If we go and look at Valverde before he went out of packs was going for around about 440. He only rose up to 500k. You could have bought gold cards, promo cards during Division Rival Awards. You probably would have made significantly more coins than buying someone like Valverde. If you do want to go and buy Hansen though, or do have a Hansen, to get the most for her, you are going to go and sell her Thursday late evening. We're looking around about 8 to 10 p.m. here. Where Valverde peaked. So again, holding on to them later in the week isn't the play. It's all about just selling them in that peak hype of Thursday Division Rival Awards. So that is the current team of the week. Again, there's a nice graphic. Hansen's obviously going to be very nice. Apart from that, Dumfries, I guess, could be quite nice for you guys with the Thuram. Salobsai could be good for, I guess, those people who are running Prem teams. But yeah, apart from that, it's quite an ugly team of the week for how good international break can go and be. Now moving on to more content that has been leaked, we've got Bradley Barcola. Now it was more favourite that David was going to win with one more contribution, but Barcola has won. Now I've seen some ludicrous predictions on cards, like Barcola being an 86 rated. Well, I'll explain to you guys just how POTMs work. POTMs work is you get a first inform, or if you are significantly low rated, and were later in the game, sometimes a second inform upgrade. So for example, Thuram was an 83 rated, and if you are no inform, he would have been an 85 rated, which is why his POTM is 85 rated. Well, as a result, this means that Barcola's POTM, for some reason, sorry, Barcola's gold card, road to knockout stages don't count in that, is only going to be an 83 rated POTM. Now there's some benefits to that, and there's some negatives. The benefits are, he's not going to go and replace top end special cards. Benefits are, he's not going to be overly expensive. Negatives are, he actually might be behind the power curve and not that demanded, especially if they don't go enough his weak foot from 3-star weak foot, and obviously he doesn't have any playstyles. But because it'll be cheap, it does mean he could be quite heavily completed. So what investments do I recommend? Well, I recommend Kolo Muniain with a Hunter up to 2.5k. I recommend Lemous up to 16.5 without a Shadow, or 18 with a Shadow. I recommend Marquinhos up to 18k of a Shadow. I recommend Andre up to 12.5k of a Shadow. I recommend Hakimi up to 6.5k of a Shadow. And I recommend Nuno Mendes up to 4k with a Shadow. On top of that, I do recommend Krachawi up to 18k with a Shadow, and Guerrero up to 10k of a Shadow. Now you may say, what about just buying them base? Well, actually buying these cards with a Shadow do really, really well. And I'll show you right now why, why would I specifically want to go and buy these cards with a Shadow? Because if I go and show you Dumfries, right? Dumfries without a Shadow, again, Thuram's SVC came out ages ago, but this just shows you the impact. Dumfries without a Shadow is, despite him literally going to be in the team of the week, what's he going for? He is going for around about 1 point, we'll be fair. He's going for about 1.3k, right? But before Thuram came out, he probably only would have been about 3 to 4k with a Shadow. But if we go and look at what Dumfries is with a Shadow, so again, he would have been about 3 to 4k before Thuram came out. With a Shadow, he now sells for 6.5k. So because cards with a Shadow are significantly rarer than cards without a Shadow, when there is an increased demand for Guerrero, the increase of demand for Guerrero with a Shadow is also there. But the supply of Guerrero with a Shadow, compared to the amount of people who want to, compared to the gold supply of Guerrero, compared to the amount of people who want to, is not there. And because the supply of her with a Shadow isn't there, she then rises a lot more than the gold card with a Shadow. So I do always recommend, especially when we go for cheap investments, go with these guys with a Shadow. It also adds more security. Because if I go and buy Mendes with a Shadow, and Mendes isn't that inflated, and he doesn't come out and he's not that demanded, Mendes with a Shadow isn't going to go down. And the reason he isn't going to go down is, one, because it's not a very mainstream investment. Two, it's just rare. Like, Mendes with a Shadow is rare compared to Mendes without a Shadow, which means he'll just hold very good value. So it's always a nice way to go and buy the cards. So next thing we're going to go and talk about is the leaked Icon SBC again. This has been anticipated for, well, as soon as we knew that the hero came on the Wednesday last week, we anticipated the Icon this week. Here's one of the leakers. He doesn't leak stuff too often, but he's got a very good hit rate, so I'd take it for verbatim. But I can confirm 100% the Icon SBC is FC25 these days. It will also be available in the database very soon. Now, if I'm not wrong, if you guys are ever interested, you can actually check out the database via heading over to my Twitch channel. So if you head over to the Twitch channel, there we go, and go into the chat. And if you go and type !code, what this will go and do is it will go and give you the pack code. And what you can do when you've got the pack code is you can now go and look for certain things. So let me have a little look and see if the Icon SBC is in. So you can see right there the Heroes pack is in. Yeah, the icon pack isn't in the pack code, so that is a slight worry. Again, I'm an advocate of selling your fodder before the icon SBC comes out, because I do believe that fodder is going to be over-invested for the icon SBC. I saw some ludicrous game. I'll be honest, I don't read my YouTube comment section too much because it's normally, filled with more hate than love, sadly. But I saw some ludicrous claims that I was recommending people to sell fodder so I could buy fodder at a cheaper price for it to go up for icon SBCs. Which, bear in mind I've made about 7 million coins off nearly straight trading with not much investing on my account. I don't know, it sounds a bit crazy that people believe that, I'd be that desperate, but whatever. As I say. But let me go and again reiterate why I think fodder isn't going to do very well. So I can grab 85 and 86s. So last week we went and got ourselves a hero SBC. I don't know if it's still active, there we go. And this hero SBC needed an 85 and an 86 rated squad. Well, let me go and show you what happened to 85 and 86s last week. We can go back there. So the hero SBC last week, fodder went from 8.4k and it went up to, if we can get the absolute point, 8.6k. So 85 rateds, probably, again, maybe arguably 86 rateds, being the most in-demand fodder, only went up 800 coins. Again, there are other arguments in the comment section saying, well, everyone's going to do the icon SBC. Well, I don't believe that everyone would have not have done. I don't think there's anyone who didn't do the hero SBC who would have done the icon SBC. And again, arguably the most direct fodder required went up 800 coins. This is as well with people not pre-investing. People did not pre-invest in fodder for a hero SBC because it wasn't anticipated to come on the Wednesday. It was anticipated to come on the Thursday. Let me do the exact same thing with the 86s here. Before the SBC came out, they were 8k. After the SBC came out, they were 8.7k. So again, not even. They were 8.5k. So 86s, despite there being an 85 rated squad and an 86 rated squad being needed, went up 600 coins. And that's just why I don't think fodder is going to rise for hero and icon SBCs without there being very well demanded SBCs to suck up that fodder before. So you may say, well, damn, we had a Swanson, we had a Raheem Sterling, we had a Morgan. We've had well-demanded SBCs this week. Surely also fodder is rarer because people did the hero SBC last week. And in theory, that sounds like a great argument. But the market says otherwise. The market says before the hero SBC came out last week, let me take off PC for now, he was 8k. Okay, so that shows that his rarity, or 86s, the rarity on them was 8k. Well, before there was the hype in demand, 86s this week were 8.3k. So they were 300 coins more. And again, remember, people are still pre-investing with it only being 300 coins more in the pre-hype. So right now, fodder is basically the same price as last week. And that price probably has incorporated more people pre-investing. Well, again, there was a bit of a skyrocket when it went from 8.3 up there to 9.2. That was not an SBC, because we can see that this rise was between 8 o'clock in the morning all the way through to 4 p.m. before the SBC comes out. And actually, after the SBC came out, fodder went down a bit. So we can see that that rise there wasn't people buying because of an SBC. That rise right there was people buying because of pre-investment. Which again, remember, this is all the this is all the hero SBC did last week. So this all being pre-investment is now being that the pre-investment this week has outweighed the actual demand last week. And that's why, again, I don't think fodder is going to do very well. And again, I do think he'll probably end up maybe about 9.5k going into 6 p.m. today, which means that fodder this week would have already doubled the rise of what it did last week. And I wouldn't like it as an investment. Again, we just haven't had well-demanded SBCs. I completely agree that fodder could be pre-invested, and if, let's say the Sterling SBC was really well-demanded. Let's say the Sterling SBC was 150k, if the Morgan and Swanson were 150 and 200k, if these cards were significantly more demanded, and we saw a really nice rise right here. Again, this isn't pre-investment. This was people doing I don't want to say this is people doing the Toram SBC because it came out on the weekend. This right here shows you that, fodder is starting to become rarer because of SBCs. Because again, we can see that the rise was predominantly post 6 p.m. You can see right there, that rise right there was about 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. And we can see that again, there was probably another rise in the morning. Again, we can always even see there was a rise post 6 p.m. on the Monday. So right now, the cards are more inflated in the pre-hype than they actually rose for the SBC. And again, this is just why I think you sell fodder before 6 p.m. You don't gamble. There's also a really nice reason to go and sell your fodder before 6 p.m. And that's because before 6 p.m, the market can get heavily panic sold. Now, the market didn't actually get too heavily panic sold before 6 p.m. last week because the SBC wasn't anticipated. But now that the SBC is anticipated, we're starting to see a bit more panic selling before 6 p.m. Or in previous years' trends, we can expect to see more panic selling. So something like Smalek, right? The day before the Hero SBC was going for about 315k. The murmurs of the Hero SBC came out and he went down to 300. And actually, post the SBC coming out, he came down here to 285. So in theory, he dropped about 10%. Because he went from about 315 down to 385. Now again, I believe there's a lot more of this panic selling. I don't think is going to be between like 1 a.m. and 6 a.m. I think a lot more of this panic selling is actually going to get shifted to about 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. And then what we can see is he went from 285 all the way up here to 350. So actually, after the Hero SBC, Smalek was significantly more than he was before the Hero SBC. So this is why, again, I'd never really panic sell too much. And again, this didn't just happen with Smalek, this happened across the board. We can use Morientes. Before the SBC came out, he was about 250. In the panic of the SBC, he was down at about 240. With the lowest, he was under 230, but he went to even higher prices of 320k. Again, significantly more. We'll go and use Matuidi, just again, just a bit of a random card. We can see right there, before the SBC hype, it was about 600. Then in the panic selling, he went down to 550. Now, actually, this is a great example of cards being cheaper before the SBC than after the SBC. He was actually the cheapest at 5 p.m, down at 550. But then after Division Rivals, he rebounded to an all-time high price of like 650, 660. So again, another reason, or another player that rebounded well. And again, he was actually cheaper before. Rosiski, we can show you the same thing. 100k before the SBC. Then in the panic selling of the SBC went down to 90. After the SBC went as low as 82, then when it hit all-time highs of about 100 to 105. So again, last week, Heroes got heavily panic sold. They rose to high prices after Div Rivals. You go and sell them about 8 to 10 p.m. on Div Rivals. Again, I had a few more examples. And we expect to see the exact same thing with icons. Now, some of these icons have already started to get panic sold a little bit. For example, Keen. Keen has already gone from averaging about 140 to now averaging about 130. Obviously, these cards are fluctuating still quite a lot. We can also see Hernandez was going for around about 285. Recently, he's been down about 270, even under 270 at the moment. Again, these cards should be the cheapest around about 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Another one, we got Campbell. Campbell earlier in the week was going for about 410. Again, now he's definitely getting closer to about the 400 mark, or, sorry, 420 to around about 410. Again, we expect these cards being the cheapest between 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Now, how can you identify what cards to go and buy? Now, I would look at buying icons that are down around about 10% in the last 48 hours. So a nice way of doing that is look at what they were daily on the Monday, and you want to get about 10% cheaper than that. So we'd be kind of looking to get Campbell around about 380. Now, if we get to about 5 to 6 p.m. and cards aren't down 10%, then just going to take like near 10%, 7, 8%. Because remember, we don't need the cards to necessarily drop loads now. It's more that they rise more after Division Rivals. Because what everyone does, right, is they have a Campbell in their team. They go, oh, an icon pack's coming out. I might pack Campbell. They sell their Campbell. They do the icon pack. Oh, I got Gattuso. But it doesn't matter because with Division Rival Awards, they get more coins. I'll go and buy my Campbell back. Because this happens on such a mass scale, this is why we see this drop and the cards rise to even higher. Especially with the especially with the inflation with all the coins coming from Division Rival Awards. So yeah, what you want to do is just go through loads of icons and ideally looking for stuff that's around about 10% from Monday. Another way you can go and find some of the best cards to go for is you can go and head over to Footbin. At the top you've got Market. You then want to go to Index 100, and what you can see right here is the cards that are down the highest percentage in the last 24 hours. So we've got a Socrates right there, we've got a Coman right there. I think Coman will be a nice little example, right? If we look on Monday, he's averaging about 280, so we want to go and get him around about 250 going into 6 p.m. Again, that's only 17k. That's still about 6% of what he's going for now. Some other icons that are cheapish: Nesta, Foundry, Vieira, Veron, Torres. Again, they don't even have to be a hero that can be packed, an icon that can be packed. Icons, the icon pack is max 87. They can literally be above the rating of 87. Heroes can also be an investment. The likes of Quell can be an investment. Again, Williams, Rui Costa. So I basically look at buying out of pack specials, heroes and icons, buying them again around about 10% cheaper than they're on the Wednesday. Cheapest should be about 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Maybe we get 7 p.m, 8 p.m, but I'd want to buy pre over post this week, so I think there's a little more panic selling. And then you're going to go and sell them around about 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. And I think that is about it. Yeah, that is about it. As I say, a lot of talking about the Icon SBC, but again, that's going to have big old market impact. Thank you very much for watching. Also today we'll be uploading a video on the tutorial channel about how to go and download Power Tools for FC25. So if that is of interest to yourself, the tutorial channel should be in the description. If not, it's literally just FLAIR's eafc tutorials. But thank you very much for watching, and we shall see you guys tomorrow with a brand new